In this video, I'm going to show you how to oil your valves the right way so you don't end up like this. I'm also going to dismember a trumpet with a grinder to help you understand how a trumpet actually works. And then I'm going to test all the weird ways that students like you have actually tried to oil their valves with something other than valve oil.
Unscrew the valve cap, pull the valve out about halfway, add a few drops of oil, spin the valve round to spread the oil in the casing, reattach the valve cap, press the valve out up and down a couple times. That's it, you're done. 20 seconds tops.
Now, let's talk about some of the common mistakes that students make when learning to oil their valves.
You need a simple small rag to place underneath your instrument in case you drip or drop any little bits of oil on your lap, so you don't end up looking like this. Remember this picture? You don't want to be this person. Don't buy a fancy rag or go to the store and say you need to get a rag. Ask your mom for a rag. Chances are your dad's probably got an old t-shirt from college that he shouldn't be wearing anyways that she'll happily tear into little pieces for you. By only pulling it out halfway, you allow the oil to roll back into the valve casing because it's already at a downward angle. There's no reason to pull the valve all the way out of the casing. All you do is risk the chance of dropping on the floor and ending up with something like this. Yuck. Dropping a freshly oiled valve attracts all the dirt and grime that's on the floor, and you end up with this.
Have you ever considered how much brass spit has been emptied onto this floor? Think about that the next time you almost drop your valve, or better yet, the next time you have a movie, you go, ooh, can we lay on the floor?
Keeping the valve in the casing makes sure all the oil goes in the casing and not on your pants, and you should never use valve oil like this. Only a few drops, folks. Now let's talk about the twist. The twist is when you slightly rotate the valve in the casing to spread the oil around. It also helps you figure out how clean the casing is. It should float and glide. If you can feel it catch or hang up, it's a clue that you might need to clean your valve casings. Someday I'll have another video that you can click on right here to watch a video about how to clean your valve casings. If you didn't take the valve out of the casing and you didn't twist it too much, then putting it back is really very simple. But in order to understand how the valve needs to fit into the trumpet, you need to understand a little bit more about the trumpet. This is Travis the trumpet. He's had a good life, and he's way too broken to repair. This is Greg the grinder. He's going to help us discover how the trumpet works. Follow the air and the vibrations from the mouthpiece, down the lead pipe, through the tuning slide crook, and down to the third valve casing. Here it's hard to see where the air goes next, so Gary the grinder's removed all the tubing for us. Don't worry about Travis the trumpet. All these extra parts will help me fix another trumpet. There, that's a little easier. Now we can see that it goes through the valve casings and then has a straight shot out of the trumpet. When you press down a valve, you're redirecting the air through the tubing attached to each casing, like this picture, the little red lines. The slide on a trombone is easy to understand because as it extends, the pitch gets lower. Same concept here. When you press down a valve, you're making the trumpet longer and lowering the pitch. Notice the green paperclip shows you how the air travels through the valves. So why do we need to know all of this about the trumpet to oil our valves? Well, it helps us understand why each valve has to go back in exactly the right place, because all those pathways for the air are very precise. If you put the first valve in the second casing, your trumpet is not going to work. This is why brass valves look like Swiss cheese and have all these holes. In order to get the valves back in correctly, you have to look for what I call the groove and the nose. Every valved brass instrument has these. They're called valve guides. Here's the groove. It's a slot for the nose. Here's the nose. When the nose fits into the groove, most trumpets will make a slight click. So as you turn the valves in their casing, you will hear a click when it's found its groove. Now that seems really complicated, but there's a real easy way to figure this out. All valves have a number stamped on them. You simply get the number to face the mouthpiece, and you're already lined up. You just have to wiggle a little bit to get the click. If you find that you cannot blow air through your trumpet or it sounds stuffy, check these numbers to make sure they're facing the right way. And now the last part, screwing the cap back on. the top of a plastic soda bottle is an excellent example of the threads that are also on the top of your valve casings. If you've ever put the cap on your bottle slightly crooked and messed it up or been unable to get it off, you understand this concept. It's called cross-threading. The best tip is to actually go backwards. Don't start out going right. Go lefty-loosey until it clicks and falls into the groove. Then it's real easy. So lefty-loosey, then righty-tighty. And that's it. And now you've successfully oiled your valves like a pro. They should move freely. If they don't, your valve casings are dirty. And again, that's another video for another time. But now, let's talk about the fun stuff. I get it. Band students like you are smart. You think of lots of things. And there's all this stuff that you see in the garage and in the kitchen that you think, hey, this looks like valve oil. I bet this could be used as valve oil. So I've taken the top 10 or so substances and materials that I've heard from other band directors that you band students have actually tried and used on trumpets. So yes, everything I try in this video, someone out there has actually already tried before, usually to horrible results. So let's get after it. And don't try this on your brass instrument. This stuff doesn't work. Just buy some valve oil or borrow it from your neighbor. Hey, there's always this option. So first up, we have butter at room temperature. It goes on okay, and it seems to work. It looks like the valve goes up and down, but what you don't realize is the action is slowed way down. The viscosity is way too thick. It doesn't work. And besides that, can you imagine what this would smell like after a couple weeks sitting in your trumpet case? Yuck. Next, we have melted butter. Because hey, maybe this will work a little bit better because it's not so thick. But same effect. It does work a little bit better, but the action of the valve is still slow. You can feel it hanging up, and again, what's going to happen after 2 weeks sitting in a hot band room? Next, we have dish detergent. While I love this as a degreaser for cleaning a trumpet, for valves, not so much. You can actually see this hang up. It's way too thick and viscous. Not a good idea. Next up, we have Windex, which the biggest problem with the Windex is it does kind of work, but this stuff evaporates. Think about it. When you spray it on a windshield, it evaporates when it dries out. So it's not going to last very long, and it's not that practical. Next, we have olive oil, and you could also throw coconut oil and vegetable oil into this. I've heard lots of stories from band directors about moms trying to help their students oil their valves with kitchen oils. Again, doesn't work, and what's the stuff going to smell like after a while? Yuck, yuck, yuck. Chapstick. And I hear that students put this directly on their valves. I hope you don't use it on your lips later. But as a valve oil, it doesn't work. It's too thick. Ah, the timeless Vaseline. If anything else demonstrates how thick stuff doesn't work, it's Vaseline. I mean, come on, guys. I don't know who thinks this is a good idea. It doesn't work. Doesn't work. In fact, the valve doesn't even go up and down. Come on. Hand sanitizer. I think this is popular because it's readily available in the band room, and maybe it's easier to get to than valve oil. But just like the Vaseline, it's thick. It doesn't work. It may look like it, but it doesn't. Like hand sanitizer, I think hand lotion is also available in some band rooms, but it doesn't last. Again, too thick, not a good choice. But then again, hey, none of this has been a good choice. This has to be my personal favorite, mayonnaise, because you know this didn't happen in the band room. This is something a student did at home, and you also have to realize that it wasn't like until a month later that they told their band director about this. Oh, the smell, the horror. And that poor, poor tuba. Okay, so of all the stuff, this stuff actually kind of worked. But the problem with this is not that it worked. It's a chemical. It's oily. It's greasy. Look at the mess it makes. Okay, this is not something you can use on a daily basis. And while it may temporarily work, the mess and the chemicals involved in this, not worth it. Just get valve oil. This is one I've actually personally encountered, motor oil. It's for cars. It seems like it's high strength and industrial duty, but it's not the same thickness for your instrument. Ugh, Yuck. Again, it's the action. The valve is slow. It's hard to see in the video, but it hangs. It's not as fast as the other ones. Again, a popular household chemical, WD-40, but it stinks, and the chemicals, you don't want this around your instrument. Bad idea. Bad idea. This is one I don't even know what to say to. Antifreeze. This is a horrible idea. This is a nasty chemical that you don't want anywhere near your instrument or your mouth. Just a bad idea. So it does not work at all. And frankly, it's dangerous and dumb. Seriously. And lastly, hair gel. Just because your neighbor's got a really cool and sticky hairstyle doesn't mean it's going to be useful for your valves. I've seen this done. I think it was mostly a joke, but I'll still address it. Don't do this either. My hope is that by making this video, you guys won't try this and I won't have to deal with any more jammed up valves and gunked up trombones. Alright, so seriously, don't try this stuff at home. If you have other materials or substances that you've had students try in the past and I didn't use them, let me know in the comments section. I'm sure there's other weird things students have tried out there. Thanks for watching. My next project will have to do with these wonderful instruments that students find on the internet for $100 and coming in multiple colors. I want to get some of these and use them in my classroom and document their slow decline into junk and make a little video so that when students ask me, hey, should I get this blue trumpet on eBay? I can say, no, here's a video of what's going to happen to your instrument, or something I can send to parents and hopefully preempt some of these. So if you're interested in helping with this project, reach out to me. If you want to see the results of this, I guess hit the subscribe button and the bell so you know when it comes out. I'm not really sure when it's going to get done, but it's something I'm working on actively right now. And if you have any great, wonderful war stories about these instruments in your classroom, let me know, because I want to hear them. I'm calling these projects Band Directors Anonymous. If you want to help or you have an idea, let me know. Come on in. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, I appreciate it. Seriously, hit the subscribe button. I'm new to all this, so feedback and criticism is encouraged. This is made for everybody. Thanks.